Welcome, 2024. It's crazy, man. Couple more hours left. 7:30 right now. And I don't know how to start this video, but I want to share to you guys the lessons that I've learned this year and the mistakes I've done this year. Let's start with the wrong things first, and then we'll go through the things that I've learned. Did a couple journaling. I have a couple things I wanted to share to you guys, but I wanted to say first at the bottom of my heart that I would not be here without you guys. I wouldn't be here without God. I wouldn't be here with the people that supported my journey along the ways. And this year was good, could be better. A lot of lessons that was learned, but a lot of mistakes as well. I didn't really list out the mistakes that I've done this year, but to top it off would be using emotions to make decisions. That's the very first thing that I need to get in control. When I'm making hasty decisions, I tend to make mistakes, and it usually leads to not a very good hire, not a very good move that will set back the company further along, and yeah, in business life in general. This is the same outfit I wore last year when I did my recap. Um, Somewhat a little bit jarring, you could say, because I remember vividly when I did this, it was somewhat gloomy, maybe around like 4 to 6 p.m. at Everett at Still Washington State. I was in my room, it was cold. I had a San Pellegrino with me, wore the same jewelry that I have now, and got back from Costco and I just asked myself, what are the things that I've learned last year, which is 2022, and now 2023. I did the same thing a couple of days ago, and I wanted this to be a raw as much and as possible. And I would say that this year has allowed me to get me closer to God, got me closer to the truth, got me closer to identify who I am truly. And it's a lifelong journey on getting to know who you are. And again, I'm not here to become so emotional about a lot of things, but things are getting serious, man. I mean, there's no more time to waste, especially parents are not getting any younger. I'm not getting any younger. The edge of you, oh, you're young and you're able to do this, and it's gonna disappear very quickly. And I don't like the idea of taking my sweet time to do something. And I feel like that's the only thing that you cannot ever take back is your time. But one of the biggest mistakes I made this year was allowing my emotions to take over my decisions instead of actually coming from data to make a decision. That's number one. Number two is I I didn't make decisions in the long term. I was take full responsibility into it as well that I was somewhat short-sighted in certain decisions I've made, and that cost me a lot of months to scramble for, okay, what are the next steps do I need to take, right? And another thing would be not having a clear vision on where I wanted to take the company or where I wanted to take Renaissance closer in general. And that's the number one thing that I fixed this year. Moving to 2024 is I know exactly where I need to bring the company. And I think just I kept lying to myself, I would say. Kept lying to myself that it's gonna be okay, you should compromise here. And that led to me not being the purest or the truest form of who I am, right? And I felt like even though if I hated someone, or hate is a strong word, but if I didn't like someone or dislike someone, I still need to be straightforward with them. And that's still going to be what I need to do moving forward. Yes, maybe it can come across as insensitive as some other people, but that's number one thing is I just genuinely need to stop lying to myself. Like, oh, it's gonna be better. They're gonna do better, right? It's just, I think I need to give myself freedom to, if you dislike someone, just let them go, man. You don't need to keep trying to figure out on how to make it work out. If you don't like someone, just tell them to leave, get out. It just saves time for both of you, and you don't waste each other's time. I have a lot of things that I made mistakes on this year. Um, for example, being more organized or prioritizing and all those things. But we could go for hours here and doing this, and I want to make sure, even though this is just for me, I want to make sure this is something that's easily consumable, because I have to remind myself the demographic that I'm following is doesn't have that much attention. Lessons I learned in 2023. Number one, you will feel the uncertainty no matter what level you're in. You just got, you just get better. That's the number one lesson I learned this year is it doesn't get easier, man. When you have that idea in your head that, oh, once I achieve this goal, or oh, once I achieve this milestone, it's gonna get easier. That's actually far from the truth. It doesn't get easier, it just gets harder. And you have to make bigger decisions if you truly want to grow, and you need to be more careful on who you let in your life. It doesn't get easier. I remember last year, hit my first 10K month. Well, late last year, around, quarter four, hit my first 10K a month, just in general. I felt like I made it out of the matrix, and I made it out, and I feel like that's, it's only up from here. Yes, it's only up from here, but, it's, you need to acquire new skills now. Making money is very simple, but that's not the end all be all goal, because if money is the only goal that you have, that's all who you will be. And you can't encourage your team members to work for you or to push harder if all you think of is, oh, we should make more money, right? And it's not inspiring. It doesn't encourage the people around you, like, oh, let's make more money. Okay, What's next after that? It doesn't get easier, man. It's the same as how you feel at the beginning. There's always going to be a new mountain to climb. It doesn't get easier. But the thing is, that's what you sign up for, and I think you should embrace it. And it's not something that, like, oh yeah, I did this thing, and I see a lot of the biggest mistake I see people get into entrepreneurship is, oh, it's gonna be easy. Oh, this thing is no, it's not. Plain and truth is it's stressful, but I think that's why it's enjoyable too. You somewhat find chaos and all of this scattered energy, and you found peace into it. And I think that's how I would summarize my experience so far with entrepreneurship is you have those bubbles or those spots in chaos that you're like, ah, this is nice. And you just get to be used at the chaos, and you're able to just tell yourself, yeah, this is good. And I think that's a good attitude to have moving forward is instead of seeing chaos or scattered or uncertainty as something as bad, uncertainties mean that you're moving the right direction. It's not that if you knew everything, right, then what's the fun in that? There's no fun in that, right? And one quote that was so profound that always, I repeat to myself is if you were in a crossroad and you're having a hard time to pick which one you should choose, always choose the one with a better story. And that came from Alex Hormozy, and I think it's one of the most recurring thought that I have right now on my end is like, okay, well, even if there's uncertainty, but imagine the upside on that. What if you figure it out? What if you've able to make this work out? What's the brightest side in this, right? What are the things that you could learn from it? So I think uncertainty, you shouldn't run away from it. I think it's something that you need to continuously embrace, even if you're just beginning from the start to end, reach your goals and along down the line. First one. Second one is have a criteria on who you bring in or share your vision to. Okay, this is very important. You can't just loosely share your deepest vision to just some random person. You need to guard it to your heart, right? And you need to be careful on who you let into your circle. And this has been emphasized to me by my parents growing up, and it hasn't just been truer than ever that there will be people that would come in and go through your life, either business partners, relationships, friends, the people that you considered friends. You have to be careful who you let in because your energy is so finite and you have to guard it at all costs to get to the goal, to get to the closest vision and mission that you have in life. And if you don't guard it, then you won't have a source of energy to pull through when things get tough. And if the people around you or the people that you let into your circle doesn't encourages you or doesn't fuels your energy and drags you down, or you're concerned they might do things to turn over you or take advantage of you, then it's too late at that point, man. You made that decision. So this number two is have a criteria on who you bring in or share your vision to. And I would say I've made a firm, okay, who do I want in my circle? Like, yes, you have those people that you spend your time with. There's the people that you hang out with. There's the people that you know business wise, acquaintances, right? People that you talk maybe once a week, once a month. daily, right? It's just who do you let into your circle, and who do you share your vision to? Because again, whatever you share out there, and the more people know about you, it's going to, even though like content is probably the number one thing that you should do, because it allows you to grow your personal brand, and therefore to shake more hands, and it's just not only gloomy shit, but you're gonna meet amazing people out there too, man. But saying this, be careful when we let in. You can't take it back anymore once you've told it to them, right? And it's so difficult. And the thing is, the only thing that you can do at that point is move forward and accept the fact that it happened. So that's one, two. So number three is your purpose changes, and that's okay. The beginning of the year, and maybe last year as well, my purpose was completely different than I have now. The vision and the mission is the same, but the purpose that you have at this very moment, it changed. Right? It's the best analogy that I would give from you guys is from this book, The Way of the Superior Man. Is it's like an onion, right? The more layers you peel, and those layers keep getting peeled, the deeper you get to the core of the onion. And the layers is a representation of the purpose that you have at this very moment. And the more you peel, the deeper you get, meaning the more you peel it, the deeper you get to your core purpose, right? And it changes, it evolves. So it's okay if you feel like you're lost. It's okay if you feel like, why is nothing working out? It's okay if you feel like, okay, is this even something I want to do anymore? But having confidence and peace within you that you're still aligned in your purpose, and you shouldn't misdirect yourself because someone told you so, or someone said this is better way to do it. Listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, right? Listen to what you've seen on the data you've received. What are the best course of action to you, right? And you have to do what's best for you, to do what's best for the people that you care about. Let's see here. Prepare for the unexpected, anticipate the uncertainty. Okay. So again, it's very similar for the first one. You will feel uncertainty, but here, instead of just, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and it's gonna go all perfectly to plan. And you have to understand that nothing goes as planned the first time around. That's why there's video games that they test a beta launch, and then they allow a small group of people to test that game to give them feedback of the bugs they can fix, right? So it's the same thing with taking action or pursuing a goal. You need to understand that it's not going to be the most perfect the first time around. And if it did, good for you. Luck, time, placement played a part. But that shouldn't be your regular expectation every single time, right? It's like you expecting to win the lottery or the jackpot every single time you bet all in. Maybe the first time around you did, but second time around it didn't work out. Because again, the odds, right? So it's you need to prepare and have a plan for what if this turned sideways? What if this turned ugly? Like, what's my contingency plan? What would I do if this happened, right? And how should I prepare for the worst, right? Because you only know what you know, and it's very important to have the right people around your circle to know, to give you actual feedback, and you're not just in an echo chamber of just agreeing to just agree, right? And you don't want to be in a friend group of like the people is just constantly agreeing to you. And then I have three more here, and then we'll wrap it up. See here. This one is more personal, but I wanted to share it to you guys. But I got to say I love you to my dad and gratitude in any level. So even if you feel like you're in the worst spot right now, you have someone in your life that you consider precious, or you're doing something in your life for someone, and giving them gratitude and just being grateful for both of them, maybe vocally, mentally, if you just express that emotion towards them, it'll make things a lot more easier, and it's gonna allow you to find purpose and meaning on why you're doing things again if you feel like you're lost. And you know that saying that typically Asian households, you don't say I love you to your dad. That's just weird. But this year, after 21 years of being my dad, or like, being a son, I got to say I love you to my dad. And I think that's, what's one of the most, uh, it's like I'm grateful I'm able to do it still, because I know there's people out there who don't even have their father with them anymore. And here I am, I was able to say love you to my dad. And I knew I had to say it sooner than later because, again, my parents are not getting any younger, and your parents are not getting any younger either. And giving them that love that they need or they didn't receive growing up, it's just so crucial and vital that you were able to vocally express it, right? And I know that action speaks louder than words, but it's nice when they feel reassured that, they hear it from you. So, hey, go say love you to your dad, go say love you to your mom if you haven't yet. Let's see here. Your truth is completely dependent on you. This is very this has been the recurring theme of my entire year, is figuring out what is the truth. Religiously, my faith, my understanding, where do I stand, my morals, my principles, my values. How do I base and where do I base my beliefs? And recently I've been finding is, I've been dabbling into a lot of history recently, from the Napoleonic Wars, from the World War, to the Ottoman Empire, from the Roman Empire, and all of them. One thing that I realize is history is written by the victors, and essentially it's by man. History was created by man, and therefore that's to position themselves as someone that was doing a holy thing, or that they were doing it for the greater cause for all. But it's subjective, it's from man, right? So coming to a realization that, truth is completely subjective on you. It's either your truth is to serve people the best way you can, and my truth still stands from this day. It's like you need to serve God the best way you can, and the way you can best serve God is by helping other people and giving them the helping hand they need to get them closer to their goal. Whether it may be in high ticket sales, whether it may be just being a good friend, right? And I think it's very important to not get too caught up on the day to day task in this world. That you have to understand that this is not the end all be all, that there's more bigger things than just this physical realm that we exist now at this very moment. And that should give you power as well, that you should have no reservation when you're pursuing your goal, pursuing your dreams. It should give you more confidence, more power, and more reassurance that anything that you do in this world is, it's up to you, and if you're gonna make it worthwhile or not. Because at the end of the day, everybody goes to the same path. They get old, they die, but the difference is the other person on the other side of the, you know, uh, 6 feet underground did they live their life to the fullest? Did they actually can they confidently say to themselves that, hey, I left all of the chips on the table and I gave it all my best and I don't live the life. I don't regret the life that I lived, and I was 100% completely satisfied on how it turned out. I did my best. Could have done my best. That's one of the worst things that you can feel when you're taking your last breath is I wish I could have done more. I wish I could have stood for my belief. I wish I could have done this and that, right? So I think it's very important for you to know that truth is completely up to you on what makes you tick, wake up in the morning. Why do you exist, right? So I think you have to find your truth that makes you feel like this world we live in is worthwhile living. And I think it's very important that it's something that inspires you to wake up day in and day out, that will help you out to overcome any struggles that you have that potentially might face you when struggles and hard times hit your face, because it's not going to be pretty, man. So again, find the truth that serves best of you and that will fulfill your biggest dreams and help you support you to your cause of helping the other people around you. And I think taking care of people is one of the best things that you can add into the truth that you have. And lastly, you will never be at loss if you give. You will die eventually. So, you have to understand that giving, you will not be at a loss. And is either someone comes along and give the same information and value that you have, or you're the one who become the source of the information and the feeling of care or whatever mission that you have is you're the one who did it, right? And you have to understand you'll never be at a loss if you give. Doesn't matter if they did X to you, but okay, so what? Your main intention was to give back, to help them to become the best version of themselves. And now, if they try to undermine you, then it's ultimately a reflection of them. It's not of you. You genuinely just wanted to give the best from them and you wanted the best for everybody, right? And I think it's very important to know that, you know, the way is so beautiful in how God created the universe and this earth that you are rewarded by doing good things, right? And does that mean that everybody that does good things get what they want? No. But does everybody that gets what they want do good things? Yes. Okay, cool. If that's the case, then why not do the things that will do that will give good value to the people around you, and you shouldn't see it as a loss. Oh, this person did this to me, or this person did this to me. You always have to think maybe that person needed it more than me at that time. Maybe that person needed it more than me, and maybe someone in their family is struggling, right? It's like, again, look at the brighter things. It's not always gloomy, right? And I think that's, it sums up everything. And I think the main mission statement that I would have with next year, or like the clarity I want to have next year, is just executing with more clarity and more preparedness, not just doing things just because you should do it. I mean, like, you should just do it because you feel like it. Should be based on actually calculated movement, because the biggest thing I learned this year, tactical wise, is information is good, but the right information is better, is greater. And it doesn't matter if you have that right information if your speed of rate of implementation is extremely low. So it's like a graph. If you can imagine a graph where it's the implementation and then the speed of rate of your implementation is at the bottom, right? And then at the side is like the information that you get. Both of them correlates, and that's how you get up, right? That's how you progress. And again, making being more intentional at the this upcoming year. But yeah, um, that's my lesson that I've learned this 2023. And I'll be honest with you guys, I feel like I've lived like a million lifetime this year. At the beginning of this year, I felt like I just, fresh off, just transitioning full time online and feeling like, I would never ever have to work a regular job ever again. That's one of the greatest feeling that you could ever have. And meeting amazing people, getting closer to God, and being able to move here in excuse me, being able to move here in Vegas and being able to, lead an amazing people of that genuinely cares for you and trust you with your judgment. And I feel like I can't take that for lightly, right? And it feels like, building this company Renaissance Closer and the vision as well, the people that I've met, the good friends that I've made, and the people I've lost, right? It's like, okay, cool. Those are all lessons, the uncertainties and fears, those are normal. But I like this idea of, in the Bible, it talks about how little faith of you, if you're worried about all those things, God knows you need those things, then why don't you just focus all of your time and attention on serving God and doing the right thing and glorifying His name? And it's like, yeah, that's right. Because, the idea of like, you can have a small grain of faith and you can move mountains, right? And it's like, okay, well, if you can do that, then you're completely unstoppable. And there's the same intention, the same energy I want to give back at 2024 is just having that, again, that maybe the purpose change, but the intention behind every action, and it's going to be more thoroughly thought, but with the speed of implementation at the same time, right? And being able to be more cognizant of who you let into your circle. But yes, hope you guys found something interesting in this year's lessons learned 23. Let me know what you guys have learned this year. I'd be so interested in to learn what are some things you guys learned. But as always, I'll leave you guys with the same thing. Be a creator. Create something today that will inspire you and others. Peace.